What's going on? My name is Shaan. In this video, I want to talk about specifically derealization, depersonalization, and brain fog. What are the differences between these three and why people struggling with anxiety specifically experience these three things? Now, by the end of the video, you're going to understand A, why it happens, why it throws people off, why it's a result of anxiety, and really what you can focus on to become essentially free from this once and for all. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Shaan. I struggled with this years ago, managed to fully overcome it, and now I help other individuals fully overcome it as well. So pay attention. It's gonna be a really good one if you're struggling with this, and let's get it started. So the reason why I want to talk about brain fog, derealization, and depersonalization more specifically is because when individuals are struggling with anxiety, they normally experience a combination of these three things. And what I find is so many individuals try to isolate, is this derealization? Is this depersonalization? Is this brain fog? I can't tell them apart. So really what I want to do is identify and really help you understand what's the differences between these three. So derealization is this experience where you feel like you're almost disconnected from the world. The way I used to experience it is that there's almost a glass panel between me and the outside world, where I began even questioning my own existence. I wasn't really sure what was real, what's not. So that's how you experience derealization. Now, depersonalization, on the other hand, is almost like this out-of-body experience. It almost feels like you're disconnected from your body. Now, if you're struggling with anxiety and you have these sensations, it can be quite terrifying. It's really easy to think that maybe there's something wrong with my brain. Maybe I'm somehow brain damaged in some weird way. And lastly, brain fog is almost this feeling where you're a little bit slower. You're so hyper aware on how you're feeling that if somebody talks to you or you're working, you almost feel like there's a little bit of a lag between you and that individual. It's almost like it takes a while for you to process what's happening. So if they say something to you, you kind of need a minute. You're like, wait, what are you saying? And so these three things kind of happen in combination with people that are struggling with anxiety, and it can be quite scary. So why do these things happen? Well, the first thing to recognize is that this isn't actually unique to anxiety. There have been plenty of studies of individuals who, let's say, have gone through a traumatic experience, let's say they've gone to war, or they've had a death in the family or something traumatic enough where they actually experience what we would call derealization, depersonalization. But what happens with them is that as the trauma dissipates, as they process, this actually goes away. They come back to reality. They don't feel these feelings of unreality anymore. Now, what's unique to somebody who's struggling with anxiety is that they actually experience for a long time. Why? Well, one of the first things to really understand is that the way anxiety works is that it focuses on what we call the fight or flight response, which is an innate mechanism that your body has to essentially protect itself from threats. So either it can fight or it can run away. Now, one of the other phenomena that happens during this fight or flight response is part of your brain almost, let's say, kind of shuts down in a way. And the reason why it does that, it tries to protect you from the trauma. What you're experiencing from derealization, from depersonalization, is just that. So what happens is that it's a safety mechanism designed to protect you. But what happens is, because you're struggling with anxiety and you don't see a threat, what ends up happening is you become scared of the safety response. And so what happens is that you actually end up going in this vicious cycle where the same thing that's protecting you is also scaring you at the same time. This is why so many people have trouble coming out of derealization, depersonalization. And while all of this is happening, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Imagine having a problem that's almost unfixable. A problem that's 24/7, that no matter what you do, doesn't seem to go away. When you become so focused with that, it's hard to identify with other things in life. It's hard to focus on other things. So what people end up experiencing is what we call brain fog, which is why a lot of these things are kind of in combination. So how do you get out of this? How do you get out of this feeling of derealization, depersonalization, and brain fog? Well, before you even focus on the solution, it's really important to understand what's even happening. Demystify a lot of what's happening, because the second you understand what's going on, the solution is going to be automatic. You're really going to know exactly what to do. So if you really want to know what's going on, really understand the mechanics of what's happening, what I'll do is I'll put a link down below. The link below is a link to essentially my free report. Now in this report, I'm showing you exactly what I do to help my clients fully overcome. This is step by step. You can ask my clients yourself. This is exactly what they focus on. This is exactly how I take them to recovery. And the first step is really understanding the mechanics. And I go deep into this in the report. So if you really want to know, hit the link below. The report is absolutely free, and it'll at least start you on your journey to overcoming derealization, depersonalization, and brain fog.